No Star Trek is 100% great. What I will argue for you, outside of the original series, which kind of like kicked it off and it was, unlike anything seen on television. So, it's got the sheen of classic rightfully on it.
Mm-hmm.
What I will argue is that Star Trek Discovery may have the best first season of any Star Trek.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
Young Junk!
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, all you missionaries out there, did you miss us? Did you really miss us? Show us that you missed us. It is I, Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble, as always, with my partner.
What's going on with you? What was all that? What was all that?
Intro. It's an intro.
What was all that?
Doing an intro.
No, we're not. Hey, this is Vincent Williams. See how I did it the way I always do it?
And I teed you up to do it exactly as you always do it. I wasn't asking for anything new from you.
You didn't. All right, go ahead.
You didn't do improv.
What was all that? No, I did not.
You've never done
like
improv.
Wolfman Jack over there. What was all that?
What's going on, baby? Here we are.
And.
Hey, baby, here we are. We're live on the Micheaux mission.
What was that?
It's called Yes and. You just roll with it.
Yeah, okay.
And you keep it moving. I set you up to do exactly what.
Okay, all right. All right.
We're doing it live.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Like, I know if you was on the cocaine.
What is with you and the cocaine?
I'm scared of it. I love the first season of Mork and Mindy where Pam Dauber looks like a deer caught in headlights because Robin Williams is so coked out and so crazy. She has no idea what's happening.
He's bouncing off the wall.
So like the first season of Mork and Mindy, I don't even look at him. I just watch her. She's like looking for the exits.
Is that why on the second season they brought all those other people in? She said, I need help.
I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I need help.
Yeah.
This guy's too much.
He's completely out of control.
He's completely lost.
And Pam Dauber is like, I went to Yale. I don't know if she really went to Yale, but it seemed like,
she looks like Yale.
I went to Yale acting school and now all this is going on. It's kind of like I wonder when Megan Good makes them shitty movies now. Like, does she sitting in her dressing room sometimes and go, I was in Eve's Bayou?
Probably does.
Probably does.
Probably does.
Yeah. Like when Journey Smollett made Temptation.
No, get it right.
Temptation. What is it? Temptation.
No, because you're the one that always
Tyler
corrects
Perry's
us.
Temptation, a film by Tyler Perry. Like, did she sit in her dressing room and go, I was a child and made Eve's Bayou?
But then she course corrected.
She did course correct.
Megan Good has not been able to.
Megan has not been able to think that this is a little shaky. But God bless her.
No.
God bless her. I like somebody working.
Amen.
I ain't mad at her. They don't make Eve's Bayou every day. So, you gotta
do what you gotta do.
Put bills to pay. So, but
okay.
Yeah. Who are we talking about?
Can we do this?
I mean, look, man, it's Spock Adjacent.
Okay. Adjacent Megan Good to Spock.
Oh, absolutely. Megan Good. Okay. Adjacent Megan Good to Spock. So, Megan Good was
We'll intro the show in a moment, ladies
Megan Good was in the short-lived Minority Report television show.
She was.
With Carl Urban.
Carl Urban was in that show?
I'm pretty sure Carl Urban was in Minority Report, the television show.
That's a good question.
Wasn't that Carl Urban with her?
Like that was her sidekick?
Or
just
a
co-guy?
co-lead? Yeah.
I don't believe. I kind of look.
Who was the white dude in Minority Report?
I kind of remember him being a little younger. So I don't think that was Carl Urban, but I mean, it could have been. Carl Urban looks so old. The dramatic series
Minority Report
was with Megan Good, Wilmer Valderrama, Stark Stans, Nick Stan Carl Urban's not in there.
Okay.
Yeah, Reed Diamond.
Reed Diamond.
Yeah, you know Reed Diamond.
Oh, I know. I love Reed Diamond. Yeah, I can't think of how to get her.
So we can't adjacent Megan Good.
Spock off the top of my head.
No. Well, no.
Can you?
No.
Oh, okay.
We are here, ladies and gentlemen, for the final episode of Spock Adjacent, because we promised it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are also sitting down to celebrate and honor the final season of the show that kickstarted Spock Adjacent, and that would be Star Trek Discovery.
Yes.
After 5 seasons, it is no longer a part of the Star Trek universe. However, many may say, an argument could be made that it may be one of the Star Trek universe's greatest accomplishments. 5 seasons of this show, which started in the past of Star Trek, and then quickly rocketed to the future.
Well, after 2 seasons.
Well, after 2 seasons.
Right. That's important now.
That it was after 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's very important. But go ahead.
It quickly rocketed into the future of Star Trek and showed us all of the possibilities that Star Trek has always held for all those many years since the debut of the series, the original series back in the mid-60s. And Star Trek Discovery, the first Star Trek series since 2005, when it debuted in 2017 on CBS All Access.
Which is also super important.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially considering, because the last one was also a prequel.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, because Enterprise was also set in the past, which I also find important when we talk about what Discovery was able to accomplish.
Yes. Now, just give you the broad strokes on the series, the Star Trek Discovery, because what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, this show actually ended its 5th and final season a little over a month ago, actually. Yeah. So we were actually giving time for all of you Star Trek fans to kind of catch up with the series and take it all in, let it sit and marinate with you so that we can talk I can't say spoiler free. We can just talk openly about the series, about this season of the series, as well as the series in general, and give an idea, or at least our thoughts on where this series ranks in the hierarchy of Star Trek, and that even includes all of the movies, because there have been tons of movies. Star Trek is also a TV universe, but it's a movie universe as well.
I mean, it is a cultural touchstone at this point.
Really, it is.
It really is.
And I would argue that it's even more of a cultural touchstone than some other sci-fi properties that some people may disagree, but I think it's even more of a significant part of cult and pop culture history over the last 50 years. Considering all of the branches of culture that it does touch. Star Trek Discovery, which started, like I mentioned, in 2017, created by Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman for CBS All Access. CBS All Access was getting into the streaming game, trying to go head first with the Netflix, the Amazons of the world. This is pre-Disney, right?
Yeah.
It's pre-Disney.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's this is CBS All Access would become Paramount Plus, but this is pre-Disney. This is pre-HBO Max or Max. This is pre-Peacock. This was CBS All Access, just the Tiffany channel, as they used to call it, Tiffany Network, as trying to make their way in this world of streaming. And they pretty much put all of their chips, they went all in on Star Trek Discovery. They went all in on Star Trek because Paramount, the parent company, owned Star Trek. It was a viable IP. You know that word IP, intellectual property. All about taking that and mining it for gold. And they said, you know what? I think this will bring the eyes to CBS All Access.
I believe it was their only original show initially.
Initially, it may have been.
Yeah.
It wasn't not long after that it was joined by the reboot of The Good Wife.
Right, but
I think initially you're right.
Like
the
you
launch
said,
was Star.
This was a Star Trek endeavor,
Mm-hmm.
and the jewel was, as you said, new televised Star Trek
Yes.
that we had not seen in over a decade.
In over a decade. Star Trek Discovery began roughly a decade before Captain Kirk's original 5-year mission, as portrayed in the 60s Star Trek, as mentioned, and a century before the events of Star Trek Enterprise. So it was in the future of Star Trek Enterprise, but about 10 years before Star Trek, the original series. The series follows the crew of the U.S. Discovery as they encounter new worlds and civilizations, delving into familiar themes and expanding upon an incident that has been talked about within their franchise's universe, but never fully explored. And it would bring Sonequa Martin Green, fresh from The Walking Dead. I think literally she was like killed on The Walking Dead like a year and a half before, and then boom, she was up in space.
Yes, she was.
Piloting, helming, being the front and center on a new Star Trek series that, for the first time, was not centered around the captain.
Right.
Was not centered around the bridge crew. It's centered around her character of Michael Burnham, who was just a specialist on the original Discovery.
Right, after the events of, like, what, the first episode?
Mm-hmm.
Because she was well on her way to be a captain, and then...
Well, she was kind of,
Right.
she was, I don't know if she was on her way to captain,
Well,
but she was on her
after
way to be like being...
Right, after the Vulcan hello.
Well, that's right.
Right.
Right. The Vulcan hello.
Look, we'll talk about it. I'm sorry.
We'll talk about that.
Go ahead.
But yeah, but Star Trek Discovery, we covered it in all of our past episodes of Spock Adjacent, where we were covering the show. But now it's in its 5th year, and it has come to a close. As we mentioned a couple of seasons ago, they rocketed into the future of Star Trek, forward thinking, further in the future than any Star Trek series before. I believe they're in the 32nd century.
Yeah.
At this point, and they are. In this season, this 5th season, they are actually in search of this technology that was created by the progenitors, a species that the Enterprise from the Next Generation Star Trek actually met, I believe, in their 2nd season. And the progenitors, were thought to be the people who were at the creation or responsible for the creation of all life in the universe, thus progenitors.
Right. It always like the progenitor storyline, because it was almost like a meta storyline where it explained why all of the aliens look like people with stuff on their heads. And it was like, oh, well, we're the people who created everybody. So of course, that's why there's this similarity. It's not because since the 60s, people were trying to save money on prosthetics. Your ear's on your forehead. Your ear's on your neck.
Go.
Right, exactly.
No. It was more than that. Yeah, I always like that as well.
Yeah,
I always like that whole idea that we are all pretty much one in the same, except for you split an atom one way or the other. Right, we're all pretty much the same. So this was revisiting a story that hadn't been explored.
No,
since that 2nd season. And with them in search of this tech, they run afoul of a species that was introduced in, I think, Deep Space Nine, the Breen. They run afoul of them because the Breen are kind of like they catch wind of this progenitor tech, and basically the season plays out more or less almost like a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
almost like Indiana Jones movie across these 10 episodes as they race to discover this this technology, and of course with Michael Burnham in the lead of this of the show. What did you think of this 5th season of Star Trek Discovery, Vincent?
I think episode to episode, it was very exciting. Like each episode, like you said, it really amounted to a 10 episode treasure hunt.
Yeah.
With a bit of Indiana Jones in the DNA. I found this season to be a lot lighter in tone than some of the seasons have been. Like I did, again, back to Indiana Jones, like we are on an adventure. We're having fun. I think for a lot of different reasons, a lot of Discovery has not had as much joy just because of the nature of the storylines. And I think right here, like things had finally settled to a point. And this the 4th season has a bit of this as well.
A little bit of
where
that,
things had finally settled to a point where this is a crew of people on a spaceship. And this is an enjoyable experience watching them have actual adventures. So, I did like it. I love Sonequa Martin Green as Burnham. Like I just love her character. I love the relationship between Burnham and Book. So you got a lot of that here. But I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Booker played by David Ajala.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's interesting. I've had this conversation about a couple of series that I've enjoyed, but for just because of production, the way productions go now in television, series, they have a season and then they kind of like go away for almost 2 years, sometimes even longer, before they return. And sometimes you can kind of like lose the engine or lose the keys to following the series. So it's like, I'll catch up with it, And there was a little bit of that. I was fighting a little bit of that with Star Trek Discovery because it had been going, I think, definitely 2 years.
Yeah.
I think maybe a little bit more, primarily because of the pandemic and COVID and stuff like that. So I was like fighting that.
And the strike. We got it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And the strike. Well. Yeah. But once I got into it, which I quickly got right back into it by the 2nd episode.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. And, you shouted out Book, Cleveland Booker. And I enjoyed him in this series, even though there was a part of it because Book is not a part of the crew proper.
Right.
There was sometimes part of him being on there. I was like, all right, they just found something for him to do, this episode.
Right.
But I really enjoyed it. And I was actually interested in that with this being the final season that they introduced a new character.
Okay.
But what some of you may not realize is that the creators of the show went into the 5th season not knowing that it was their final season. They did not know that until after the season had basically been filmed.
Right.
So they had to go in and do some reshoots to wrap some things up.
Right.
Because I thought it was very interesting that they introduced a whole new character of Rayner, Commander Rayner, played by Callum Keith Rennie for this season. I loved him.
Right.
I absolutely loved him. He's a little bit edgier because he was his own captain. He ran his own ship and he ran it his way, which was 180 degrees the other way from the way Michael runs her ship. But he gets demoted and then becomes her number one, which I have to say I called right in the second episode. I saw it coming. but I really enjoyed him in the series. I enjoyed his energy, because he was definitely a counterpoint to a lot of the kind of a little bit of kumbaya-ish things that were happening amongst the crew. So I really enjoyed him. The treasure, the treasure, quest of it all, I got into a little bit, but more often than not, especially when a show is one where you enjoy the characters, I kind of got into more of just kind of just the character beats. I liked, like I said, Rainer, him and Michael bouncing off one another. I love revisiting Stamets and the Doctor. I'm just drawing up on his name, but their relationship. And of course,
Doug Jones,
Saru.
Of course.
But just real quick, Dr. Kolber is his name. Played by Wilson Cruz, and Stamets played by Anthony Rapp. But Doug Jones as Saru, I mean, he is maybe one. He quickly rises to the pantheon of Star Trek characters.
Absolutely,
especially considering there's an argument to be made that his character probably not only enjoyed the most growth over the 5 seasons, but the most logical growth over the season, over the 5 seasons.
To your point, I liked the introduction of I just lost
Rainer.
I love the introduction of Rainer, but I do have to say, regardless of whether they knew it was the last season or not, so many of the bridge crew, and I think for a lot of reasons we can talk about that are outside of the power of the creators, were just never
explored. Yeah.
Like, I barely know the names of 3 or 4 of the crew.
And unfortunately, 2 of them that you knew
crew,
weren't there for most of the season.
So I was like, how y'all bringing new people in?
I know.
It's been 5 years, and I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
So
the 2 that I mentioned was Detmer and Wushikun,
right?
Who the actors who played them, just honestly, they just couldn't clear their schedule.
Yeah.
So I think they you blink and they're in one episode,
right,
and then they return at the end, kind of for the reshoots at the end, because they had been part of the show for all 4 seasons.
And then, as you said, just with the strike and the pandemic and the nature of these streaming shows, it's only 10 episodes this season.
Right.
I think one of the things, and this is going to be my theme throughout this episode, talking about what Discovery accomplished in spite of. So much of what Discovery does is in spite of. And, you think about the great Star Trek shows. In my mind, it's no surprise. It's the 3. It's the original series. It's Next Generation. It's Deep Space Nine. But you look at those seasons, 20 episodes.
22.
24,
some of them.
24 episodes a season. So that the character beats that you're talking about, you have the luxury to explore them in a way that Discovery has never had. And then certainly the last 2 seasons, when they finally kind of get their footing, it's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
It's 11 episodes.
Yeah, but Discovery, they definitely fell victim to the world in which we live now as far as episode counts.
Right.
But the argument against that is that there are other shows, including other Star Trek shows, which we'll touch on later, that have basically the same episode count, but have been able to give enough runway for the other characters to be explored and have a little bit more depth to them.
I mean, what are you talking about besides Strange New Worlds? Is that what you're talking about, Strange New Worlds?
Well, Strange New Worlds, I would also say to a degree Lower Decks as well. But I think the difference.
I think those are oranges and tangerines.
No. But I think what more hurt Discovery
Mm-hmm.
is that it's in its 5th season, but it already had like 3 or 4 showrunners. Like
Yes.
Discovery, when Discovery first comes on, first of all, when it first comes on, the mandate is that it's set before the Next Generation,
Which
right? Which a lot of people, some people balked at.
I'm 100%.
Me too.
And you know, the great thing about that we've done this show, like so much of this is documented. Like you and I aren't Monday morning quarterbacks. We're like, I guess quarterbacks while it's on. I don't know how football works. Anyway, at the time, I think a lot of the critiques that we have right now, at least me, at the end of the show, I've had the entire run. And I think that mandate that it has to be set before the original show hobbled it from jump.
That hobbled it.
Like just out the gate.
Yes, but also the storytelling in that season was one big serialized story.
Yes.
Right? Which and I think if I remember, that pretty much holds true for the next 2, definitely for season 2. And season 3 tries to break it up a little bit so that it's one serialized story, but it's broken off into like maybe like smaller chunks of chapters and things.
Look, the first season is the mirror stuff, which, you know, it's just
but it's
super
still
plot
one
heavy.
whole story.
No, but I'm agreeing with you. Like, it's super plot heavy.
Right.
The second season is part of the reason that I say comparing this to Strange New Worlds is like oranges and tangerines. The whole second season, and I said it at the time, was a backdoor pilot for Strange New Worlds. Like the whole second season, as soon as they brought Pike on board, it was like, oh, well, this is the show they want right here. And they're treating Discovery like, you know, something we just sort of had to deal with.
Right.
Third season, they bounce them to the future, and then you got all of that going on with the burn and this, that, and the other. And that's when Book shows up.
Right. Because that was a whole
And then the
season.
fourth season, like I said, you finally kind of get, okay, this is
where we're going to live.
Right. As you said, I think this is reflective of all the different showrunners and this, that, and the other. But, you know, it's the showrunners. I honestly think Paramount has always treated Discovery shabbily.
Yes. Not always. But definitely after the first season. After they because they took the chance on, you know, the first Star Trek since 2005.
But we got to hedge our bets. So we're not going to touch post-Picard Star Trek mythology.
Right. Right. And so it's the first one. They think they still got kind of like a hit in the movie world, so they don't want to really even touch like you know anything Kirkish,
right?
You know what I mean? So and it's going to be it's going to be serialized too. Oh, it's going to be on streaming. Star Trek is not really what doesn't really fit under the CBS brand, you know. So we'll put it out there. Right. We'll see what happens because we think we want to get eyes on it. We're ready to write this off if it don't work, but it works and it brings eyes to Star Trek, to CBS All Access, and now to your point, they're like, oh, okay. Now let's do the Star Trek that I remember, because this is not the Star Trek that I remember, and all these eyes that are coming in, you know, all of these people, friends, family of Next Generation and the original series. It's not that Star Trek, but it's a hit. But can we make it our Star Trek? Well, let's see what we can do. And that's when the shabby treatment starts.
As soon as Anson Mount showed up,
with no shade on him.
No, I'm a fan of Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as Anson Mount showed up with that white boy hair,
looking like a Star Trek captain,
I said, "Oh yeah, that's
from Central Casting."
I said, "Oh yeah, that's." I mean, they were lighting the Enterprise different, like the uniforms. I said, "Oh yeah, God bless you, Burnham." But this is literally the golden child right here. This is what they want.
Yep.
And lo and behold,
yep. And that's a shame because
it is a shame.
Because
it is a shame.
Star Trek Discovery was an excellent show. Was it always great? No. But no Star Trek, ladies and gentlemen, let's call it like we see it. No Star Trek is 100% great. What I will argue for you, outside of the original series, which kind of like kicked it off, and it was, unlike anything seen on television. So, it's got the sheen of classic rightfully on it. What I will argue is that Star Trek Discovery may have the best first season of any Star Trek.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. And I think, again, and this is my dead horse. I think if you took Discovery and instead of making a prequel, you plant it like 50 years after Next Gen. Like Next Gen is however many years after the original.
Yes, more than a few. Yeah.
Yeah. You got something that is one of because the Mirror universe is, as much as people kind of play with it, I thought that their depiction of the Mirror universe is the most interesting, sustained look at how that could work in Star Trek.
Well, the Mirror universe quickly became like this plaything that every series did.
But again, there was kind of a joy to it. There was a bit of tongue in cheek.
Talking about when the other ones did it, right?
Right. No, I mean when we did it, like
when Discovery did it,
like Micheaux, Yao, and Sonequa Martin Green were just ate up every piece of scenery on Earth when they played their evil counterparts. And I think even the design, where it looked like something out of Flash Gordon, like everyone seemed like they were having a bit of fun, which I think when Star Trek is at its best, there's always a bit of fun.
Yes.
So,
yes. And Michelle Yao.
Yeah.
That first season.
Yeah.
And then she returns for the second season.
Then she returns for the second season.
Oh, she's French kiss. But let's get back to the fifth season.
Fifth season.
I was looking online at some people talking about the fifth season, about how it wraps. And what it does with some of the characters. And I'm going to go through all of the characters with you to get your beat.
Okay.
Read on all of the characters. But with how it wraps, there's this treasure quest for this technology of the progenitors, right? And Michael Burnham ultimately discovers the tech. You knew she would.
Of course. She's the captain.
She discovers the tech, and it is everything that she thinks it is, except the progenitors did not create this tech.
Right.
You learn that the progenitors actually found the tech themselves.
Right.
And then, learned how to use it, and were waiting there, in a sense, to teach it to the next person.
Right.
But they realized the importance and the significance of this technology, so that's why they created more or less this treasure quest,
right,
to get here. And once she finds this out, she doesn't share this technology with anyone. She basically, it doesn't destroy the tech, but she destroys the pathway to the tech, more or less. And I saw that online, there were a lot of people, not a lot, but there were some people that had a problem with that, because they felt that meant that the season more or less amounted to a quest for nothing. And I wonder how that lands with you.
I don't think that's true at all. I think the journey is the thing. And I think they kind of articulated that very well in the last episode where Burnham tells Stamets and says, you know, we have enough.
Yes.
We haven't, like, we are good enough the way we are. And I would actually push back and say that is a very Gene Roddenberry type message. Like you talked about the progenitors in Next Generation. And, you know, I joked about how it was this meta thing with everybody's makeup just kind of, everybody looks alike. But that's kind of the point.
That's the point of it.
We are all one family. We are all one. We are all unified. I think at its best, there is this humanism at the heart of Star Trek. Like, we don't need a bunch of whiz bang things.
Yeah.
We are enough. So I would disagree. And a lot of times you have to go on a journey to figure that out.
Yes, you do.
Which they did.
Right, and I see, and you landed the same place I did.
Mm-hmm.
I landed at that exact same place. It is about the journey, and when you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, that really is what it is. How many times have we? I don't know if this happens to you, but especially as a kid, I knew that every summer, my grandmother's church was going to get up all of the kids, and we were going to go to Dorney Park.
Okay.
For one weekend of the summer, we were going to Dorney Park.
Okay.
And we were looking forward to Dorney Park. And then you find out that it's that Saturday, we're going to Dorney Park. Oh my God, I can't wait to get to Saturday so we can go to Dorney Park. And I'm just living through Monday through Friday so I can get this Saturday, so I can go down to South Philly. I can get on the bus with all my cousins, all my friends from South Philly that I didn't see all year because I lived in Germantown. Going to Dorney Park. And then we go to Dorney Park and we have fun at Dorney Park. But we don't have as much fun at Dorney Park as I thought we were going to have all week long because it was about that journey. And I'm not disappointed.
Right.
But it's just all about that journey, wanting to get there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I that's kind of like how I felt about this. And I also looked at it like it's interesting that you said this is very Gene Roddenberry type of ending, which is great. You know, Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. I had another creator in mind at that ending, and that was Rod Serling. And it seemed like a very Rod Serling, Twilight Zone-ish type of ending, and I appreciated the hell out.
Look, we talked about this. I think the last time we talked about it was probably when we did the very black movie Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. But you know, I love that whole generation of science fiction creator that came out of World War II. And you know, whether we're talking about Gene Roddenberry, whether we're talking about Rod Serling, whether we're talking about the creators of something like The Outer Limits, or you know, all of this, you know, Arthur C. Clarke, like all of these wonderful science fiction writers who, you know, again, or go through World War II, see what happens in the war, you know, not to be Greatest Generation, because you know how I feel about the Greatest Generation, but you know, like you know, saw the Nazis, saw this kind of inhumanity, and then kind of funnel this humanism in opposition to that
into all of their work.
So I think, you know, I think you're absolutely right that this is the Twilight Zone. This is Star Trek. This is The Outer Limits. This is all of that stuff, you know, that happens. But this is Star Trek at its best.
Let's go through some of the characters. We mentioned about Saru, who goes from, interesting enough, he goes from being prey in the beginning of Discovery to he is the predator.
It's a great beat at the end.
Oh,
when
he
says, "I'm a predator." Do I look like I'm bluffing? And it's like, wow, like you said, if you followed him
His whole arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now he's this confident man that's about to marry.
That's right. He got him a lady.
Got him a lady.
Got him a lady.
A Vulcan.
A Vulcan lady.
Okay.
A real pun farn here.
With all your plants.
There you go.
You know, so I mean, I really loved his arc throughout the entire series.
Look, it is a testament to Sonequa Martin Green that Doug Jones didn't take over the show. Because he really is just that good.
And and he very much is the heart of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I know some people cape for another character I'm about to bring up, but I think he's very much the heart of the show. Where do you stand with this character, Tilly, Commander Tilly, Mary Weissman, the actress? Oh boy.
No, not oh boy. I think Tilly was very much set up to be this point of view character and this G. Willikers character.
Certainly in the beginning.
Season. And I like that she lands as a teacher. But I do have to say that my comment about so much of the cast and the characters didn't get a chance to really develop over the 5-year period. Like Tilly is one of those characters that I think if we'd had more episodes, if we'd had more time, if like I don't know how much where Tilly lands I felt was earned with what we saw on screen. As far as you know, like that last moment where Burnham's son, spoiler, says, you know, Tilly is officially the longest serving instructor at Starfleet Academy. It's like, I don't know how much I saw the steps that land on that moment where she says, I think I'm going to teach. And I wanted to.
See, I thought I saw that because she definitely wasn't built. She was built for exploration. She was built for examination of things. I don't think she was built to be on a starship, you know, because I never got the sense that because with a starship, yeah, there's time for that exploration and, you know, and reflection and things of that nature. But you've got to be ready to, on a dime, flip that switch.
Right.
And I don't think she ever found that switch. And I think that was well played throughout the show. She never does find the switch, which is why she then says, I know there's a place for me in Starfleet.
Right.
It's not here on a ship.
I agree with that. What I don't agree with, I didn't see anything that said, now I'm going to be a teacher. Like I'm going to be in charge. Like you had a couple of scenes in the past, you know, in the last 2 seasons where they show her in this role, but they weren't sustained scenes. Okay. So, you know, but you know, sure, I like Tilly.
Now there's another character who I think we definitely dig a little bit more into. I guess you can take them as a pair. Yes. Paul Stamets, who was the head engineer, and the doctor, Hugh Culber, played by Anthony Rapp and Wilson Cruz, respectfully. And they are the first openly gay couple in Star Trek.
And an interracial couple.
And they are an interracial couple.
I don't think we should,
you know, you're right. Yeah. You should definitely shout that out as well. And I think, but not because of that, you do get glimpses into their world a little bit more. And I think that is primarily because in Stamets' case, he basically is the engine for the spore drive, which drives the Discovery ship. So there's a lot of ramifications that come with that on a personal level. And because of those ramifications, his husband is going to be brought into bear with that with Dr. Colbert, and by virtue of being introduced to him, you see like, oh, there's a little bit something deep about this character too that we want to explore, and they explore his character a lot more. I think while you get more insight into their characters, there's the one where I wish that there might have been an opportunity to explore maybe a little hair deeper, especially in the Colbert.
I think you're right about them individually. I love the fact that in every iteration of Star Trek, every series, I would argue that they have the most developed relationship that we see between romantic relationship that we see. Like, I think, obviously something like Riker and Troy jump out from Next Generation. But if you think about it, for most of the Next Generation run,
they're not together.
It's
about their past. Yeah.
But as a working domestic relationship, I thought, speaking of sort of the tradition of Star Trek and what Star Trek stands for, in the tradition of Uhura, frankly. Like, I think this depiction of openly gay crew members is important.
Very much so.
Like, this is important. I think representation is still important, especially representation of demographics that don't see themselves in certain ways. Like I think the fact that they were a loving couple.
Yes, very much.
They were an affectionate couple.
Yes.
They argued.
Yes, they were real.
They got on each other's nerves. They were playful. And kind of to contradict myself about, these seasons didn't have enough episodes and this, that, and the other. I think the show gave them room.
It did give them room.
From the first season that you saw them as a couple. And, I don't know how much there was development of them individually that I can say, oh, well, this person, he had an arc from here to here. But I admired their characters.
Me too.
I liked them as characters.
Me too, most definitely. So there's there too. Shout out real quick. Speaking about engineering, I
love Anthony Rapp.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Just as an actor, yeah.
I got to get it. It's talking about engineering. Definitely was more of just a recurring role. But I got a soft spot for Tig Notaro.
Come on, man.
As Reno.
Come on.
I just love Tig. She takes me out.
She's another one. Every time she's on the screen, it's like, well, hell. Where's the show about her?
I know. She, especially when the one episode where she's basically telling like all of her past jobs. I'm like, oh my God, she's crazy.
There's a moment in, I forget what episode it is in the last season, but no, in the fourth season, where she's taken prisoner and she's asking, like, she's got this recurring thing where she's asking for black licorice.
Yes.
Because her blood sugar is low.
Yes, I remember.
Lynn, I could have watched a half hour of Tig Notaro asking for black licorice and just sort of riffing about her blood sugar, and she's sort of leaning and doing her little, oh man, she's the best.
She's absolutely.
Yes.
What do you think about the first openly non-binary actor in the first non-binary role in Star Trek, Blue Del Barrio, who played Adira?
What'd you think?
I acknowledge the inclusion of it.
Absolutely.
I do.
Representation is super important.
It is very important. However, they left me a little cold.
They every time they were on screen, I was thinking we could be with somebody else.
Yeah. Especially when we take a not long, but a little bit of a quick off ramp to revisit their relationship with the, I guess, the spirit or whatever that
Sure.
was with them before. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got. I have nothing to say.
This is how I will compliment Discovery and the showrunners and all. I think that Discovery was very, very careful with this character's introduction and their integration into the crew and into the storylines. But unfortunately, it's almost like we talk about these black characters in films and shows from the 50s that were made by very well-meaning people. Like you're so sort of tenuous with how they're depicted, and you're working so hard not to offend people. And it's almost a version of respectability politics.
A little bit.
That the characterization ends up being flat. And the irony is that I just forgot their name.
The Adira.
The irony is that most of the time Adira is bouncing off of this gay couple that are allowed to be actual people with everything that we just said. So it's such a contrast that Adira is just sort of there. Again, I don't think you can really underestimate the importance of their inclusion.
No, you can't. Not.
And their depiction.
Yeah.
So
especially and shout out Discovery. Shout out to Discovery for all of the changes that it underwent through these five seasons. One of the things that was being lobbied at them by some of the more right-wing-ish Star Trek fans,
yes,
was that this was the quote-unquote woke Star Trek, and them bumping up against that. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, Star Trek has been awake since 1966. All right, so
nerds are the worst people on earth.
I don't know where y'all been. They've been wide awake ever since it first hit NBC. But shout out to in this universe now, where that loud minority sometimes, if they push enough, can enforce some level of changes on things. That through all its upheaval, Star Trek Discovery never changed.
Look, man,
in that regard.
Look, you and I are in several nerd worlds. Star Trek oftentimes frustrates me. Star Trek fans, like all fans, sometimes frustrate me. Like, I do think there's...
Are you saying Star Trek or Star Trek fans?
Star Trek and Star Trek fans.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll sit here and I'll nerd rage about them forcing this into being a prequel the first 2 seasons. But at the end of the day, I think Star Trek as a subculture, Star Trek as a fandom, Star Trek in general is the most forward-thinking and, again, the most humanist of all of these legacy fandoms. And to your point, while it is admirable that they kept Adira in regardless of the pushback, I am not surprised, because that's Star Trek.
Yes.
Like this is what Star Trek does. So yeah, but as a character, I was it's only 11 episodes this season. What are we doing right now? Yeah. So go on. So God bless them, but yeah. All right. Who's next?
David Ajala as Cleveland Booker.
Cleveland Booker. I wish they'd have had more time to do different things with Booker. Like I really wanted Booker to be more of a almost Harry Mudd type character. Like kind of
that
like just kind of roguish and kind of like I wish when he showed up, he didn't immediately have a placard that said, "I'm going to be the love interest." You know?
Yeah, he did.
You know, I do have to say that somebody in the room said we're going to have some black love on here.
Amen.
And I love that.
Amen.
I'm always loving that. But you know, as a character, I never really quite like tall and good looking is nice.
Yeah, I always felt like they dulled his edges real quick.
Real fast. Well, again, I am the love interest.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
And I didn't think that they needed to do that.
Yeah.
So in that regards, sometimes they, you know, they'll do something like that with a character in order to flip them
right
on the other side.
Right.
You know, so there was always a part of me like, are they going to pull the flip with him?
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that was the end goal.
Well, I'm glad that it stayed true to that, right. and especially that, you know, this series, again, spoilers, flashes forward at the end, so you see that they are still not only still together, they are very much still in love, still playful. They have a beautiful son that also followed his mother into Starfleet, and it's just as successful. So having that black love and showing that it lives and prospers and endures is definitely a beautiful moment. But I did think that they kind of like dulled that.
Which, not for nothing, that's the show I wanted. Like the last 3 minutes, the flash forward with Book and Burnham older, and then the son who had just became a captain. I said, well, hell, I'd watch this show right here.
Nah, I wouldn't have watched it.
Oh, I'd have watched the son. The son came and was talking to his dad a little bit.
Nah, I wouldn't have watched it.
You don't want to see the family adventures?
No. Because one, they wouldn't be family adventures. And two, if they were family adventures, they would have had to put some tension in there.
Oh.
And I don't want the tension.
That's a very good point.
I don't want the tension.
I take it back. Let's leave them right there.
Just leave them right there.
Just leave them right there.
Exactly.
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Nobody mess with them.
Yeah, because you know why? Because if you put tension in then you've got Riker and Troy in that last season of Picard.
Yeah, you're right.
And you don't want that.
No. You are right about that.
You do not want that. So we end with the other character for this season. Sonequa Martin Green.
Yeah.
Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
What do you think about her arc over this? Because I will say this. The actress, the actor, Sonequa Martin Green, fan of. I loved her on The Walking Dead. She always looked like somebody that I had seen before.
Sure.
But when I was doing her research, she had actually only been acting like maybe 4 or 5 years when she gets on The Walking Dead. But I enjoyed her on The Walking Dead. I applauded them casting her to be the lead in this series, and I enjoyed following her with this series. The character Michael Burnham, I like them starting off as a specialist, finding her way. She's you want to talk about edging? She's got edges like ching ching sticking out from all over the place in the beginning. They kind of dull those edges, not right away, but they start, dulling that down. And there were moments throughout this series, and I think I've brought them up a couple of times, where it almost seemed like nobody can do nothing except Burnham. It's Burnham or nothing.
Right.
And that quickly became like, no, she's not a specialist in everything. Other people earn their place on the bridge doing their jobs or whatever. She doesn't have the answer for everything. So because of that, her arc to becoming a captain, I never 100% felt that was earned. But, you know, they did what they did, and I'm not going to, you know, okay, you did it, and here she is. And I think that as a captain, she wasn't a bad captain. I don't think she, you know, stands out as the best captains we've had, but she wasn't a bad captain. And ultimately, I was there for the character, and I like her arc, and she was our focal point, so I'm there. But I never 100% felt that the character earned where she landed in even just Starfleet hierarchy.
Look, Kirk, Daredevil, Playboy, smarter than people give him credit for.
Yes. Picard,
urbane, cosmopolitan, also kind of the reverse of Kirk. Don't think he won't put them hands on you.
Amen.
If he got to.
Yes.
Cisco, haunted, pragmatic, practical. Everything we talk about was Cisco. Janeway, brittle, kind of, you know, but you consider what she had to deal with being lost, you understand. But when you think about Janeway's personality, kind of, you know, a little brittle.
Interesting.
Archer, aw shucks, first in space type dude. I just described the personalities of all of the captains in one sentence, maybe a sentence in a clause, but very quickly, you know who these people are. Once again, and I'm sorry, I always have to come back to this. Discovery being a prequel for the first 2 years, and we haven't actually said this out loud, her being the shoehorned in secret sister.
Oh yeah.
To Spock, which then when they try to reset it, it's almost like I felt like the creators were going to come on and talk directly to the camera and say, "We will never mention this again." That she was Spock's sister,
which they more or less do.
We will never ever speak of this again. But you cut off all of her background. You like there's never a moment where we can talk about her at the academy. There's never a moment we can talk about her as a kid, as a teenager. Like all of the development that you get over the seasons with the other captains, you don't get it with Burnham. Because they're so busy trying to reset the table, everything that we were talking about where the characters set, where the characters end up, character arcs, this, that, and the other. One critique of Discovery that I do agree with is that every season has always been super plot driven.
Yes.
You know, there's an overarching storyline, there's a this, there's a that. So that I think any affection that you have for Burnham as a character is a reflection of how good of an actress Sonequa Martin Green is, because I don't know how much of it is on the page.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it is again, like, I don't know what a Discovery comic book or a Discovery novel with this character looks like without Sonequa Martin Green selling it to me. So that you're saying you don't see her journey to captain. I don't like I mentioned, like I love the first episode where they call it the Vulcan hello, which is a euphemism for like this preemptive action. And I like how they kind of set up where Sonequa Martin Green is, I mean, Burnham is maybe always at ready set.
Right.
Like she about to punch you all the time. But like you said, that goes away almost immediately.
Yeah, boy.
and talking about representation, I do think it is super important that this is a Black woman lead, and eventually is a Black woman captain, which I think it is important that she lands on captain. I always remember, for those of you that don't know, when Deep Space Nine starts, Avery Brooks's character Cisco is not a captain.
No.
He's a commander. The behind the scenes argument was always that Next Generation was on at the same time, and they didn't want to have two captains. That's also why Avery Brooks has his hair grown out and looks ridiculous, because they said they didn't want two bald leads.
Right.
But I think it's the third season he gets the bump and becomes a captain. And one of the characters has this great speech about how important it is. Like, he's always been in charge. But now he's the captain. And there's something super important about Ben Sisko being the first Black captain lead. And I think it's important that Burnham is a captain. But like you don't really see.
You don't see the steps.
You don't see the steps. So, I love the character, but I love her for what she represents. And I love what Sonequa Martin Green does with what she's given.
With what she's given, exactly.
But yeah.
All right.
And then there's all the rest.
And, oh my God.
It's like the first season of Gilligan's Island, where Marianne and the professor don't even get their names called out.
I know.
And all the rest.
I know.
There's a Black guy and an Asian guy and a woman with half her head shaved.
You are wrong.
And that sister that Vince liked a lot, that Nigerian sister who had her hair twisted.
Are you talking about Owushikun?
Oh, I liked her.
Yes, that was Oyin Oyedeji.
Yeah, I liked her.
Who played Joanne Owushikun.
I did not know her first name was Joanne.
I did not know that either.
Just now. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I learned that as well.
I liked her.
The woman with half her head shaved was Emily Coots, who played Kayla Detmer.
Sure. And all the rest.
And then there was
on USS Discovery.
Then there was Reyes, who was played by Patrick Wakshun.
Was that the brother?
No, that was he was the
Asian guy.
The
Asian guy, right?
Who also sat in the commander's chair.
He did, and I like that for him.
Kind of like third of the bridge. He was third in command. On the bridge. The brother, I know who you're talking about, and that would be They
don't even name the brother. I like the brother because the brother was proof that it was somebody that could give you a fade in the future.
They don't name
I was like, the brother keep his fade tight.
Well, David Ajala had a fade.
Oh, no, sometimes he didn't.
Well, okay, yes.
Sometimes he didn't.
Sometimes, he was a courier.
He didn't, right.
He was a courier.
Right.
No, you know who had a fade? Cobra.
Cobra did. Cobra kept his fade right.
Cobra was tight.
Right.
Apart.
And then I was like, they're not being stereotypical, are they? They're not saying the gay guy is always very well put together. Right, fastidious. But his fade was tight. We should probably mention that I think me and you are the reason that they did something with Burnham's braids and with her wig. Because you and I were adamantly against the crime that was what they were doing to Sonequa Martin Green's hair.
Yes, and that was specifically, I think, season 2 and 3 that she wore the wigs.
Well, season 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, she did have a wig.
Remember, she had that weird wig on.
Oh, yeah, the one wig was basically a hat.
Right. And then there was an episode this season where she fought her past self.
Right.
And that's what made me think. I was like, oh, they did used to have her hair looking all crazy.
Didn't you want her, like future her, to kind of like even just a comment on the hair a
like
little?
Something.
Like, thinking.
Take out some grease and something. Like some water and a grease and a brush would do wonders for you. Like, I know it's some black people in the barbershop because, like you said, my man's fade.
I know Tyler Perry likes Star Trek, but y'all ain't gotta let him do y'all wigs.
Let Tyler Perry put wigs on her.
Y'all gotta let him do
it's ridiculous.
Even though I bet Tyler Perry took those wigs.
Oh my goodness.
and use them on his Washington D.C.
Look, I'm just glad the sister got her braids. And in the future, she had like a wash. She had like a blowout.
Oh yes,
She had like a blowout. I said, all right. I see you, future Burnham.
I see you, Burnham.
Right. So they only had a brother's name.
They don't even have. I'm looking. They do not have that brother here.
That's a damn shame.
That's a damn shame.
He kept his fade tight though. He said, y'all ain't gonna have me on TV looking crazy.
That's it. I'm not seeing his name, but if y'all want to put him in the chat, y'all can, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I don't want time to get away from us. We have some fun planned for you, ladies and gentlemen. As if you have been watching Spock Adjacent all of the years that we have been doing Spock Adjacent, or even just the Micheaux mission, you will know that we have more than a few Star Trek fans in our legion of missionaries, and there is no bigger Star Trek fan in missionary standing than one George Carmona. What? Yes, that's your word.
Go ahead.
And
this is important information, though.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Because I don't like you that much. George, knowing that this was going to be the final episode of Spock Adjacent, has come up with a Star Trek quiz for Vincent and I to finally determine which of us is the true Trekker of
a Trekker showdown.
A Trekker showdown.
Can we play the music in the background? Dun, 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 dun,
we will
dun,
edit
dun,
it in
dun,
for
dun.
the
All right.
episode.
All
Okay,
right.
well, a mock time is that name of the music that you were talking about. So let's bring on George Carmona.
You trying to intimidate me? I knew that. I knew that was the name of the episode. I knew that. Because he was going through Ponfar.
He was going through Ponfar.
All right. Don't be trying to.
It's not a question.
You know what season it was?
That would have been the second season.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. All right. So we're going to bring in George Carmona, ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment for you. Orville Cummings is. I'm looking at Lisa Alexander in the chat, who plays Bryce.
Yes.
On the bridge crew.
Nice.
There are actually two brothers.
Right.
Bryce and Christopher. I don't know. Bryce.
Right. I remember because it was a new brother towards the end.
Towards the end. That's right. That's right.
Also kept his fade tight.
Well, hey.
You know.
Yeah, the computer was Zora.
Yeah.
Zora, she knew her way with a fade.
Right.
You know?
Little on the nose, but I appreciated the computer's name.
Zora?
Yeah.
I like that. I see.
I like
you say on the nose because of who you are.
Because of you're
the
right.
Average Star Trek fan.
You're right.
They ain't catching it.
You're
and
right.
we ain't even going to tell them.
You're right. That's a good point. But I did like that.
No, I love that. I love that. And I love them kind of like, and I saw a lot of comments about this, how the series ends, but the final scene where Burnham returns to Discovery is basically a setup for a Star Trek short that was done in the future.
Yeah,
featuring the Discovery. So so I actually like that.
Yeah. Right,
Dylan, now, are we having trouble getting George?
No, he's waiting for us.
Oh, well, all right, we're ready.
We're ready, George.
If you want to come on camera.
Okay, I'm here. If you guys can hear me.
Oh, we hear you.
There's
okay,
George.
we're just gonna. I thought we were gonna have you on camera, but we don't have you on camera, George. But George has come up with a Star Trek quiz, and now this is not on Discovery, ladies and gentlemen. This is on all of Star Trek, and we're actually going to have this set up so that you can watch this as we are streaming live here on YouTube. We didn't even mention that.
I need the pin too.
He hasn't started yet.
Okay.
We haven't started the game yet.
Once he hits start, then we're going to get the pin.
Got you. All right.
Stop jumping ahead. Okay, so you can hit start, George, so that we can get the pin number, and then we're going to set it up so that you can watch and play along at home, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we're ready to
All right, here we
ready
go.
to join.
Oh, here. All right.
So can they see the pin as well? So you can see the pin if you go to Kahoot.it, ladies and gentlemen. Go to Kahoot, KAHOOT.IT at home and put in this pin. I'm going to go there myself now.
All right.
And then we can get started. All right, hold on a second. I was busy doing that. All right, so I'm going to put in the pin number.
My avatar is Albert Einstein if he was a dog.
Is that what your avatar is? Let's see whether or not it gets me the same avatar. I will be Len.
Oh, there's Lisa. She's a penguin. And you're a puppy?
It's not a puppy. It's like a raccoon.
A raccoon?
A raccoon. It's Indiana raccoon.
Indiana raccoon.
That's what it looks like with
there
that
you go.
hat.
All right.
I'm Indiana raccoon. We've got Lisa.
Lisa's playing. All
Lisa's playing. We're going to give a couple of more moments. If anyone else wants to play,
right.
Robert Monroe Jr., I believe, is a huge Star Trek fan.
Sure. Join in.
He played. And now I'll let you know this is going to be a Star Trek quiz, but it's multiple choice, but it's timed.
It's also timed.
So you can get the answer correct, but you want to get the answer as fast as possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's like the SATs. You got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's only four choices. So one. Let's wait a couple more. Dylan, do you want to play? Do you want to play the game? Are you a Star Trek? You will lose.
All right. So no Dylan.
Dylan said he would lose at his name. So Dylan is not going to play.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're waiting, so just real quick, Megan Good, you can get to Megan Good in Star Trek through her in Shazam: Fury of the Gods. She's there in that with Helen Mirren, who's in Hobbs and Shaw with Idris Elba, who's in Star Trek.
Sure was in Star Trek.
Yeah, he's in Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
There you go.
Very well. Okay, so
There you go.
She is Spock adjacent.
She is Spock adjacent.
There you go.
There you go.
And yet she can't find an off ramp to get
Can't find her. Yeah.
Can't just
No.
can't make it work. All right, so let's go. Let's
All
go.
right.
So it's going to be
Robert's not playing.
All right.
Robert is not logged in.
All right.
Well, all right.
Give it a bit of time. No one is
All right.
saying that they're going to be logging in. So it's going to be you, Vincent, myself, and Lisa Alexander.
Yeah, Lisa in there. All right. What we got?
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, not at home.
So now are we starting with the sample question? Or is this we're in?
It's a sample question so that there's no points. The greatest Starfleet captain is
Who?
Benjamin Sisko, Robert April, Michael Burnham, Twyla Scott. So again, this is a subjective question. Anybody?
I was about to say, because I picked Cisco.
Yeah, I would too. Though the argument for Burnham is, she did save the universe a couple of times.
First of all, Sisko was a good captain. I wouldn't say he was the greatest Star Trek captain. And I certainly wouldn't put, and Burnham I like, but I wouldn't put her as the greatest Star Trek captain. I would say the greatest Star Trek captain is not listed there as Janeway.
How is Janeway the greatest Star?
She got them the hell home.
Right, but Cisco
and kept them together and merged the Starfleet with the Maquis and created a crew that ultimately became a family and got them home. I mean, she didn't get everyone and integrated the Borg into her crew. I would say Janeway is the greatest Starfleet
Cisco
captain.
Was the prophet and defeated.
He has a monumental place in Starfleet.
Right.
In Starfleet.
Like Janeway got him home, but Cisco
as a captain, I'm talking about as a
for
captain.
God's sake. All right.
As
all
a
right,
captain,
all right.
It's Janeway. It's not Cisco.
Let's play the game.
It's not Cisco.
Let's play the game.
It's not Cisco.
I mean, you can keep saying it. What are you trying to do? Summon them?
So Robert Monroe is trying to jump in. He can jump in. So if he can see the game pin at the bottom of the screen, he can try.
The game pin, if you can't, is 999-3082. Robert Monroe, we'll wait for you. Will it show up showing that he's logged in? Because we don't see. I don't see the number of players anymore, so I can't. It's not like I'll see like there's 4 players.
Who voted for Robert April? Lisa, did you vote for Robert April?
I voted for Robert April.
You just being contrary.
Well, honestly, I thought it was a trick question because I didn't see Janeway. So I said, "Oh well, I've heard a lot about it."
Wait, who's Twyla Scott?
I don't even know. I think that's an AI.
No,
who's Twyla Scott?
Twyla Scott was the sister who was the youngest person to make captain in Starfleet. She's in season 1 of Next Generation.
Very nice, George.
Yes,
very nice.
So, all right. I guess he's still not able
Is he
to
logged
jump
in?
I can't tell from here. If he says it in the chat.
Yeah, let us know if you're logged in, Robert, so we can move forward. Hit us up in the chat. And
they were all black captains here too. That was the choice with this. Since
and April is a captain of some distinction.
I mean,
yeah. So that's why
she's the first captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah, so that's
why Archer was the first captain
of the NX.
Okay, all right. And April's black in Brave New Worlds. I mean, Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, black.
Yeah, he said go ahead without him. All right. Here we go. So now points count.
All right.
So now they count. Points count and speed counts.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So there's that. After Star Trek, Nichelle Nichols is famous for helping what government agency? United States Air Force, FBI, NASA, Section 31.
Come on, man. It's NASA. Come on, man.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Everybody, let's see who got it in faster. All right, Vincent. Okay.
That's a rip because I hit it.
You did hit it. You just hit it after me.
Oh, he's in.
You're in, Robert.
Okay. He's in now. Well, she's going to have to catching up to do. Here we go.
Catch up, dog. Because we ain't waiting.
Madge Sinclair played the captain of the USS Saratoga. She would return to play what other starship captain?
Oh, Jesus.
Carol Freeman, Sylvia LaForge, Noyoda Uhura, and Twyla Scott.
I know I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong.
We got them all.
I know I was wrong.
He played Geordie's moms. Okay.
Oh, Lisa.
Lisa's sitting there with her Google.
That's a good one. No. She knows it.
Richard Daystrom is best known for creating which important technology? The duotronic computer, phasers, transporters, warp drive.
Damn. I got it wrong.
I think I got it right. I think I got it right.
I got it wrong.
I hit it.
Yep.
There we go. Duotronic computers. All right. So wait, which ones did you pick?
I picked Duotronic computer.
Okay.
Oh, so you got it right.
Yeah.
I thought it was transporters.
That was the other brother.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Goodness. Okay.
All
Lisa's
right.
still in there. Vince.
All right.
Robert, come on.
I think Robert doesn't even know he was in there. Got in there.
Which of these Star Trek actors has not been in a blaxploitation movie? Bernie Casey, Avery Brooks, Nichelle Nichols, William Marshall.
This is easy.
Has not been in. Okay, yes. Avery Brooks got his start a little bit after. Yeah. All right, Lisa's holding it down.
Yeah.
Robert's on the board.
I gotta catch up with Lisa.
Know.
I gotta catch up with Lisa.
Robert's on the board.
Go get something to eat.
Which member of Starfleet has not traveled through time? Beckett Mariner, Najoya Uhura, Carol Freeman, Benjamin Sisko, who has not traveled through time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everybody got that right. All right.
Damn, Lisa.
All right.
You on Star
Listen,
Trek
Len is
Wiki.
on fire though. Got a streak of 3, but Lisa's still holding it down.
I know, man. I
No.
need her. I need her to take one L. Just take one L for me, Lisa. Do it for the show.
Which Starfleet officer has a middle school gym named after them? Geordie LaForge, Travis Mayweather, Joseph Mabenga, Jake Sisko.
Know this.
This is actual canon. This was a line in one of the shows. Oh, who guessed Travis?
I did.
Okay, there you go. Look. Oh, there's Vince.
Yeah.
Moving up.
How that jumped you ahead of me already in one question?
Hey.
It's the points. Yeah, in Strange New Worlds, they mentioned that
I remember that.
he had a school.
Because it was really random.
Oh, they were fanboying on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. What Trek event is scheduled to happen this year? The Europa mission, First Contact, the Bell Riots, Broken Boat Incident.
It's actually a little scary.
Yes, it is. Very,
Actually a
especially
little
after
scary.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Especially after yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up this year, people.
Yeah.
So we've already outlawed homelessness.
I
So
was
next
about to
up,
say, yeah, it's actually a little scary.
those sanctuary cities are going to be popping up.
Oh, yeah, the Bell Riots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when Ben went back through time.
Uh-huh.
All right. Which real world politician played the president of Earth in the fourth season episode Coming Home? Now, we got Mae Jemison, Kamala Harris, Stacey Abrams, or Cory Booker. Who played the president? There we go. Everybody watched that episode.
Ah.
Let's see who got it in faster, though. Okay, Lisa. Oh, Lisa's just pulling away.
Killing us.
Oh.
You got 2 questions left.
All right.
I don't even think it's Lisa playing.
It's a bot. Burnham becomes captain of Discovery in which season? 3, 2, 4, or 5? Okay, everybody saw that in season, huh? All right. Let's see, any movement on the board? Okay, Lisa's still holding it down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, this is it.
Lisa's
You gotta
killing it.
hope. You gotta hope she. She's got a streak of 6
Yeah,
answers
Lisa's
in a
killing
row.
it.
All right. Last one. Michael Burnham graduated from what prestigious school? The Daystrom Institute, Xavier Institute for Higher Learning, Vulcan Science Academy, or Starfleet Academy?
The picture kind of gives it away.
I could have just been her in
some
the
weird
dress.
wig.
Because this goes to her wig. Because before she's on the Shenzhou, she had a little bob cut going on. But then
So
she
she
went
would
to
go and
prison.
get a perm and then get it cut
Yeah.
in the Vulcan bob.
Yeah, and then she went to prison, and it was like she didn't have access to any hair care and not the messed up hair.
Right. So they made her wear a Tyler Perry wig.
Yeah. So all right. So here we go. Let's see. I wonder who won. Let's find
I
out.
got that. Yeah.
Well, we know
It's
who
Lisa.
won.
Yeah.
Len came in third.
Uh,
Then to second place.
I will take a gentleman's silver.
Yeah. And
Well done,
Lisa came in.
well done, Lisa.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well done.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
I think the important thing though is that I beat you.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I beat you.
Yeah. That's all because of that one question
Yeah.
jacked you.
Yeah.
Because I actually got more questions
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Oh,
If you keep saying it, that doesn't
I
necessarily.
did.
You didn't.
I did.
You got one wrong and I got one wrong. And then we got the rest right. And then I was faster than you on the one of them.
well,
Anyway,
Yes.
thank you, George. That was fun.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Lisa.
That was good time.
Yeah,
That was good
yeah.
time.
Yeah, good questions. Good questions.
Yeah. So it looks like Lisa's writing a book on Trek. So
Yeah. Oh, look.
Oh, well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So she had all her notes in front of her.
I had her notes in front of her. Proper planning and preparation prevent poor performance.
all right. Well, gents, thank you for having me. If anybody wants to hear any of my rants on Star Trek, I do a lot of writing for them on comicsbeat.com. We do our roundtables and various different things on Trek I've written there. So we're working on Prodigy next. After I hang up with you guys, I got to cram 10 episodes of Prodigy in so he can get that up and popping.
Well, you go and do that work, man. And thank you.
Thank you.
This
Appreciate
was a lot of fun,
George.
man.
No problem. You guys have a good one.
You too, brother.
Hey, man, live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.
Yes. All right. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. And congratulations to Lisa. Seriously.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Very nice.
And you got to let us know when and everything is up and running with the book, because we would love to support and promote that here on the show.
Yes.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And you're overdue for a return visit. We will definitely make that happen soon.
Yes.
Before we get out of here, I promised you,
Yes.
you know, we were going to do like a top 5, but we don't have time for the top 5.
Okay.
But I promise you that we're going to do a little bit of 6 Degrees of Durville.
Okay. All right.
In theme.
A themed 6 degrees.
Yes, a themed 6 Degrees.
Okay.
With Star Trek as the theme. So instead of doing 6 Degrees of Durville Martin.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you can still play this, cue the same theme music, Dylan. Instead of 6 Degrees of Durville Martin, what I have for you tonight, Vincent, is 6 Degrees of Uhura.
6 degrees of Nichelle Nichols?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bet.
Hit that theme music,
Bet.
Dylan.
Bet. I can do that.
All right, 6 Degrees of Uhura, ladies and gentlemen, where Vincent has 6 films or less.
Okay.
Films to connect Nichelle Nichols. Uhura. Famously of Star Trek on TV and in films.
That's right. Each of the Star Trek films.
Connect her to 2 actors of my choosing.
Okay.
2 actors who, in the time that we have been gone from the airwaves, we have sadly lost.
Yes.
Starting with number 1, in 6 films or less, Vincent, connect Nichelle Nichols
to
comic actor Martin Mull. Martin Mull, who was famous, to be fair, for a lot of TV.
Sure.
He was on, got to start on Mary Hartman and Fairwood Tonight. He would then do guest roles on 1,000 different shows. Taxi, The New Adventures of Wonder Woman, where he played the Pied Piper.
I remember that episode, actually.
He actually was also on... he had a recurring role on Roseanne, the TV series Roseanne. He also appeared in the Larry Sanders Show, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. More recently, he appeared in Arrested Development, as well as in Veep from HBO, and did a voice on Bob's Burger.
Sure.
But he did have a career in film.
Okay.
So, can you connect in 6 films or less Nichelle Nichols to the sadly departed Martin Mull?
Okay. Nichelle Nichols is in Porgy and Bess with Sidney Poitier. I don't know if she's in the credits, but remember she was a backup dancer.
Okay, I'll give you that.
She talks about it in her biography.
Yes.
So she's in Porgy and Bess with Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier is in Uptown Saturday Night with Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
How many is that? So
That's 3. That's 2.
So what did I say? I said
Porgy
Sidney
and Bess.
Poitier, Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor is in Lady Sings the Blues
Mm-hmm.
with Billy D. Williams.
Yes.
Billy D. Williams is in Batman 89 with Michael Keaton.
Yes.
And Michael Keaton is in Mr. Mom with Martin Mull.
Very good, Vincent.
I may have been ready for Martin Mull with Derville Martin. So I looked up Martin Mull movies. I was not ready for Nichelle Nichols.
I figured that's the one that would get you.
So that's how you get to Martin Mull with
Interesting.
Nichelle Nichols.
That's interesting. See, now my thing is that you use Porgy and Bess.
Yes.
And Porgy and Bess, I almost want to call a foul on that because I'm pretty sure she's not in the credits in that. But I'm gonna give you that. Lisa Alexander, who now is our new resident Star Trek champion, as well as
She sure is.
She
in Star
mentions
Trek,
that-
Christopher Lloyd.
she is in Star Trek 3
That's right.
with Christopher Lloyd, who was also in Clue
Yeah.
with Martin Mull.
Mm-hmm.
Clue, which is a movie, it's one of those movies that when it's on, I gotta watch it.
Yeah. It was just, we were talking about Tim Curry last week.
Also
2
in-
weeks ago with
also in Clue.
Dorian. Yeah. I was just thinking Tim Curry. But yeah, it's Clue's good stuff.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Next.
Next.
And I'm taking Porgy and Bess off
going to take Porgy and Bess off.
You can't use that for
This
this.
is going to be Bill Cobbs.
Yes, in 6 films or
Bill
less,
Cobbs.
connect Nichelle Nichols to the recently departed character actor
Bill Cobbs.
Bill Cobbs.
Great Bill Cobbs. Okay, so this is how you get to Bill Cobbs. So Nichelle Nichols is in
I know how you're going to get there. I know the movie you're going to land on.
I mean, he maybe because you know.
Well, I know the movie I would land.
Okay, so Bill Cobbs. I really want. I wonder if I can. So Nichelle Nichols is in Truck Turner
Uh-huh.
with
Isaac Hayes.
we're trying to get to Bill Cobbs with Isaac Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
No, with Yaphet Kotto.
Okay.
Yaphet Kotto. I mean, hell, I'm just going back end. Yaphet Kotto is in The Monkey Hustle with Rudy Ray Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy Ray Moore is in Dolomite with Derville Martin, who is in Five on the Black Hand Side. Dick Anthony Williams.
Okay.
Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington,
Mm-hmm.
who is in The Bodyguard with Bill Cobbs.
Oh, see, I didn't think you were going to land on.
Wait, I'm wrong. I ran out. Because he's in whatchamacallit with Whitney Houston, and Whitney Houston's in The Bodyguard. So I got to get to Bill Cobbs. Okay. So Bill Cobbs, how do I get to Bill Cobbs? Nichelle Nichols is in Bill Cobbs. Think about Bill Cobbs in a couple of things. I just got to get Nichols. I got to get out of
Yeah, I thought you were going to go Isaac Hayes.
to
That takes you to what's the name of that movie? I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
yes, and I don't know if that's actually very good. Michelle Nichols is in Truck Turner with Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes is in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker with, and I need you to help me with the actor's name. Who's the actor who plays what is his name? The Karate Man. Who's the Karate Man? And I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. What's that actor's name?
That's because Isaac Hayes, Bernie Casey, and then it is Steve James.
Steve James, and then Steve James is in Brother from Another Planet, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
With Bill Cobbs.
Yep.
Is that what you were thinking?
I don't know if I was thinking him, but I knew there were so many people.
I was trying to get to Joe Morton.
So many people in
there. But I
remember
Steve James is in there.
Yeah, but he's in there. Yeah.
So that's how you do that.
Very good.
Yeah. Isaac Hayes is a good one.
All right.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
There you go. A special Star Trek.
6 degrees.
6 degrees of Durville Martin. Very nice.
Very good. Well done.
Well, thank you, sir. You helped me out with the Isaac Hayes.
Hey.
All right.
You would have got there.
Look. One way or the other.
I thought the Bill Cosby movie you were going to land on, though, was New Jack City.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of if you could get the Wesley Snipes or Chris Rock or Ice-T or Mario Van Peebles.
Sure.
So.
Sure. The problem with Michelle Nichols is that, Christopher Lloyd aside, those Star Trek movies are pretty.
It's its own little universe.
Own universe.
There's not too many of them. Right. Like if it was a Star Trek series, then you could have used Bernie Casey.
Sure, but it's like Ricardo Montalban.
No, it was Paul Williams that was in the movie.
Yeah, Paul Williams is. Yeah, I guess you could use Paul Williams too.
Yeah.
I
was about to say I always confuse him with Bernie Casey, but that was it.
All right.
So where does before we get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
Where does Discovery, the reason why we are here, where does Discovery land for you in the pantheon of Star Trek?
I think it's the fourth best.
Fourth.
I think Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek series.
Mm-hmm.
I think Next Generation is right under Deep Space Nine. I think the original series. And then I think this is better than Enterprise. I think this is better than Voyager. I have to say, let's have this conversation in a few years when Lower Decks goes off. Lower Decks is fantastic.
Well, that's the other thing that we didn't touch on is that
Lower Decks is the show that Discovery should have been.
Well, I don't know necessarily think that it should have been, but it is a fantastic show. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic show. The other thing that we didn't touch on was that the game breakingness of Discovery is that, like TNG, which gave us Deep Space Nine and Voyager, which are basically the progenitors to that. Discovery not only proved that Star Trek is once again a viable IP to Paramount and CBS, so much so that it then spawned not one, not two, 3 spinoffs. Because from it you get Strange New World. Because of its success, that's the only reason that they greenlight Lower Decks. And because of Lower Decks' success, that's the only reason that Prodigy gets made. And I'll believe it when we see it. But they're saying they're going to do a Section 31 series that more or less is spinning off Michelle's Yao's character from Discovery. And Tilly, the word on the street or in Starfleet is that she's moving to the next sequel,
right?
Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
And this is all birthed because of what Discovery meant when it hit like a rocket ship in 2017. As far as the Pantheon, fourth is a good spot, and I probably don't argue with you on fourth, but I argue with you on the order. I agree that Deep Space Nine, I think, is the greatest Star Trek series ever. And I think of any iteration of Star Trek, even if you want to wrap in the movies, Deep Space Nine is better than any of the movies, right? As a whole.
Yeah.
Right? So Deep Space Nine is right there. The people want to put Next Generation because of the classicness of it. So, and because of that, I'll give you that. I'll give Next Generation that second spot. And it's well deserved. I'm putting Lower Decks at number 3 because Lower Decks has already been on at least 3 seasons. I think it may actually be 4.
Right.
And for the most part, for me, that show has hit it out the box every year with still showing growth.
Yeah.
And they had, for all the people that herald TNG and Deep Space Nine for some of their crossovers, they had the best crossover of Star Trek when they crossed over with Strange New Worlds.
Look,
so I would put Lower Decks at number 3. I'd probably slide Discovery at number 4. Now, what I will say, see me in a couple of years and see whether or not Discovery sticks
Strange New Worlds.
I mean, excuse me, yeah, Strange New Worlds. Give that maybe 2 more, a season or 2 more, and it might start bumping up against Discovery.
I think I thought Discovery should have been Lower Decks because I think the privilege that Lower Decks had is that it actually got to play in the Star Trek playground more than Discovery ever did.
Yeah, because Discovery had to recreate their
they
own.
kind of kept it in this kind of prequel status. And then they almost did, to what we do here all the time. Like we talk about these 40s movies where they have like the black acts, but they have them in such a way that when they sent them to the Southern distributors, they could cut them out.
Yeah, right.
They put Discovery so far in the future. There's a cynical part of me that was like, they wanted Discovery over there somewhere.
Yeah.
So that they didn't get.
So they don't even have to address it.
So that they don't even have to address it. And because of that, in a lot of ways, Discovery a lot of times didn't feel like Star Trek. Like it just felt like a space show. And at this point, as a legacy franchise, people that watch Star Trek want to see Star Trek stuff. Like I want to see Klingons, I want to see Vulcans, I want to see Bajorans, I want to see the Jem'Hadar, I want to see the Borg. Like I want to see Star Trek stuff. And so much of what happened with Discovery, they weren't allowed to play with that. Where Lower Decks,
and to be fair, I don't think they necessarily even wanted to.
I don't know about that.
I think they wanted to recreate. I think they wanted to.
I don't know.
I think they wanted to create, their own playground to a degree.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And even if they have some interviews where they're saying that, I just do not believe you make a Star Trek show and don't want to play with Star Trek stuff.
Some stuff, but I think they definitely wanted to create their own.
I mean, everybody wants to add. I didn't say they didn't want to add.
Okay.
But, like you said, they had to build, call it, what's your show you've been trying to get me to watch for 3 years? Oh,
now I drew. I know what you're talking about. I drew.
What is it? The Seth MacFarlane one.
Oh God. The Orville.
Yeah, Orville. Right. Like in that case, do Orville. But if you're gonna do Star Trek, let me do Star Trek. So, but Brave New Worlds is going to be because I think Brave New Worlds is going to have to unravel. Like they're going to want to keep going, but like you said, at some point, you got to put Pike in that chair.
At some point,
Pike got to be hitting the little lights. Like Pike will have to be in the chair.
I'm mad we both went the same time.
It's like, woo, woo. It's real tough being Pike.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
Okay. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that has been your long-awaited Spock Adjacent finale. Doesn't mean that Vincent and I won't continue to watch Star Trek. We won't pepper in some Star Trek talk here. We might actually return to long ago. We did an episode where we chose our a crew, our own crew from all of the Star Trek episodes. I was almost played out like a Star Trek draft of a sort. I would love to return to that one day. I think that would be fun. So we'll have some Star Trek fun along the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure.
But that has been it for Spock Adjacent. If Discovery is gone, Spock Adjacent is gone. But it has been fun. We really enjoyed it. And trust me, I'm not blowing smoke. We have other special projects that we are actually actively at work that we're going to be bringing to you probably sometime later this year. So look forward to that. They're not Star Trek adjacent, but they are definitely Micheaux mission adjacent.
They are.
So you will definitely, we hope that you will check them out and enjoy what we have coming your way. All right. Including next week here on the Micheaux mission, where we will be sitting down to review. Well, actually, all of the films of July are going to be housed under the banner of Summer 2K. Yeah. These are kind of like summerish movies from the 2000s. Yeah. And we kick it off with an oft requested film.
Yeah.
By many of you. Vincent has threatened to bring this movie to the mission, but no, it was I.
It was Len.
It was I.
Should be in, and you've never seen it?
I've never seen this movie.
I'm so looking forward to this.
At all.
I'm so looking forward to this.
I am looking forward to seeing this movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
From the year 2000, if I am correct.
I think that's, It
is Gabrielle Union.
Yes, and some other people.
And a bunch of other people, but more importantly, Gabrielle Union.
Yes, it is.
In Bring It On.
Bring It On.
Next week.
A black film we'll be talking about on our Black Film podcast.
Let's see if that holds.
Let's see.
That's coming next week. But until then, I encourage you to follow us on all of the social medias, whether it be Instagram, the X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook. Hit us up at Micheaux Mission. You can also find the Micheaux Mission where you're watching us right now on YouTube, where you can hit that bell and subscribe and be notified of all of our upcoming episodes and special videos that are going up there. Please tell a friend so that they can also subscribe to the Micheaux Mission on YouTube, which streams every Tuesday night live here from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. You can book yourself in one of their many studios by emailing Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at youngjunk.com. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, will be coming your way next week live. If you have any thoughts that you want to send to us, email the Micheaux Mission at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. We've gotten all of your emails. We're calling through them, and we will return with emails and a top 5, 6 Degrees of D'Urville, Martin, all next week. So show up here with us and bring it on. All right. Until then, he's Vincent. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.
Young John!